Welcome back to Go Again Gaming and welcome back to round 5 of the league that means absolutely nothing 3. Here we are in the 2-2 bracket today. Your voice of the league, Ian Holland, and we have 2 league that means absolutely nothing stalwarts. We have Andrew Mason piloting Dash.io, taking on Hank Sherlock on his beloved Viserai Runeblood. This is an interesting one, and Viserai definitely well within the ability to fatigue Dash.io. I've seen it happen plenty, especially now that there's no high octane in the format. But in sad news, Hank might be looking for a new deck soon because Viserai has gotten turbocharged from Rosetta and therefore might be gone. He is very fastly approaching the living legend cap. But taking him out on this league, that means absolutely nothing for one big final hurrah. Who is going to take it down? Is going to be the man from the Goblin Reserve? Is it going to be Andrew Mason? There's only one way to find out, really, and that's by finding out by watching the gameplay. I'm going to throw it over to the game. We're going to see, is the Demonastery or Metrics going to be able to take this one down?
The league that means nothing is brought to you in part by the Sigillit Games. Go and check them out on Etsy. This is one of the altars that you can come to expect from the Sigillit Games. Shiny foil treatment to the back of Flesh and Blood cards to really spice up your battlefield. Make sure you go and check them out when you can and use the code GAG4ALTS to get 10% off your order. Cheers, Toby. Let's get back to the tournament.
As always, we have Andrew rocking those Team Turret sleeves going first. We're going to start with this activation of Dash.io by playing a Boom Grenade off the top. So that costs us a Boom Grenade from hand? Question mark? Yes, Boom Grenade from hand. Are we going to crank it? Do we need the extra action point? It doesn't look like it. We're just going to put a counter on our Symbiosis shot, have the Boom Grenade come in with a steam counter on it so that we get to keep it for next turn, knowing, of course, that Viserai more than likely to full block our turn. Pretty good start. Dash getting to set up, clear an item from the top, and clear an item from hand. It's not really, like, you don't want to be stuck holding the bag, as it were, if you're going first, or if you're going second. And then in comes this T-Bone, boosting away a throttle. Now, this is kind of a nasty one. Viserai, obviously, you've got your Blade Break on your Grasp of the Arknight. And so T-Bone says you're going to have to block with a piece of equipment. If Andrew has another T-Bone in hand, he might be getting maximum value here. But this is coming in for one boosting, and it's just going to be met with the Grasp. Because we don't have a say in the matter, we have to. Are we going to play another item? Oh, we do have the second T-Bone. Oh, that's so gross. Boosting away a 0 to 60. This one is a red T-Bone. We don't want to give up Creepers. We don't want to give up Tunic. We don't want to give up Face Purgatory. What do you do? This is gross. This is a great way to start the turn. Hank might be... This might be a case for something like into Dash.io, where you know there's going to be T-Bones, or expect there could be. You should bring Dyadic Carapace just to get that extra little bit of block value out of the game. But it looks like Creepers is going to be committed just by merit of how good Face Purgatory is. Blocking with those Creepers. And one more card potentially being committed, because obviously we don't want to just take this damage from our Boom Grenade yet. So blocking with a Rune Rager Swarm as well. Andrew closing the combat chain. Hank losing those beautiful Iron Rot Jordans. Obviously, not doing a whole lot in this game except getting absolutely smashed to pieces, getting T-boned off of the field. Or was Andrew not closing the arena? Or was Hank choosing before the close to activate those creepers and get that free activation because we have used a Rune Rager Swarm to block? No, we are not going to be activating our creepers this turn. And Andrew playing a Cerebellum Processor, cranking it, and using that to draw a card to Arsenal. A brutal start to the game for Viserai. Always, no one ever wants to start on the back foot, and Viserai loves to go first anyway. So I'd say Hank isn't feeling overly chuffed about that one. But Viserai's ability to threaten damage is pretty wild in this post Rosetta metagame. As is Andrew's right, he is just checking the top of his deck, Right, we've got an activation of Grasp of the Arcanite by the looks of things, pitching a red Rune Rager and a Revelin Runeblood. So we got our first rune chant in. And then we're just going to read the runes. So going up to 4 rune chants, arsenaling and passing. Taking steam counters off both Boom Grenade and Cerebellum Processor is Andrew, checking his arsenal. We want to make sure we have all the information before we start our turn. And we don't want to be playing Dash.io and lacking critical information because you never know what's going to happen. And I believe I caught the glimpse of that top card being a what's it called? A backup protocol red, which if could get back a T-bone. So who knows what's going to happen here. Yep, it is in fact going to be this backup protocol red being put into play. What are we pitching for it? We are pitching an outpace. So a lot of reds. No. Cranking to gain an action point. Making sure we put our steam counter on our symbiosis shot, I would assume. And then coming in with a Sprocket Rocket, banishing a max velocity. So this is coming in here for 3. If an item or equipment is banished when you boost it, it gets a +1. So it's just going to be for 3 for now, but it is threatening a Boom Grenade. That's going to be met by Amplify. Amplify the Arcanite 3, blocking 3. We know there is no sneaky combat tricks coming in here because Dash.io has already had her once per turn ability used. Andrew just doing a bit of a think there. Looks like, closing the combat chain. Activating our Tekla Foundry Heart. Pitching a Zipper Hit. Banishing the top 2 cards of our deck. Generating 2 resources. Pulse Wave and Cerebellum. Always a good feeling when you're on the other side of the field to see one of those go somewhere that isn't straight into play. 2 floating. Let's check the top. Always, you don't want to lack critical information. Oh no, this means T-bone is happening twice. So we're going to T-bone, boost. So that's coming in for 3. Go again. And is going to take the last point of block on our grasp. Okay, we are blocking out here with a reduce to rune chant. Grasp plus reduce going up to 5 rune chants. Are we going to buy back a red T-bone using our backup? It looks like it. Very hateful of you, Andrew. Gross. So red T-bone again coming in here, boosting. You have to make that choice now, buddy. Are we not boosting? Kind of have to. If you don't boost, no one is. Oh, boosting a Technocore. You hate to see it go, but it's coming in here for 3, which is probably going to have to eat the face purgatory. Oh, eating the tunic. Hank blocking with tunic. And probably another card because we want to make sure Andrew gets 0 value from this boom grenade or really has to work for it. Yeah, so full block on the. That's another Technocore on top. Scrybug, getting Scrybugged IRL. Andrew has a spare action point, so we're going to draw with the Cerebellum. And we're going to probably just play this Technocore Arsenal and pass. No, we are going to max velocity. So this is coming in for 10 here. And gross. 10, threatening 14. But Andrew will have no setup for next turn. We have no action points left. 6 block, taking 8 total, right? Red boom. Oh, it's 5 block, taking 9 total. Hank simply going to pass through the turn. Andrew drawing 4. Having spent quite a number of resources to get to this point of the game, start a turn, Cerebellum is gone. Very stocked Banish Zone, though. If Andrew is indeed playing heists, there's a good chance that he should be able to put some cards into play. We're going to lead with this red zipper hit. Pitching a. There's the other Technocore. So the bottom of the deck we know is 2 Technocores. Banishing a red zipper hit, not what you want to see off the top. Reds in hand, banish blue cards or bad cards. Pulse Wave on top now. I'd be very surprised if I was wrong there. Hank thinking about his blocks here. This could be an alright use of Face Purgatory. Instead, we're just going to reduce this to Rune Chant. Blocking 4, taking 1, netting 1 point of value here. Two cards in hand for Andrew. 2 resources floating. Andrew closing the combat chain. A Spark of Genius, I would put money on being the option here. Yep, Spark of Genius. No floating. So we're not paying into the spark. We're just going to go get it. X is 0. Looking and getting our red boom grenade that we pitched on turn 1. Obvious problem here for Andrew is he's going to draw this card. The problem being he is expending an awful lot of resources to try and kill Viserai. This would be a good chance for Hank to face Purgatory. That's a heist on top there and really net maximum value because it would just sort of end the turn. Oh, it's a Fast and Furious, so we get to put a steam counter on that boom grenade. At least it's a boom grenade and not something a lot more dangerous. So this is coming in for 4, threatening. And there we go. Hank is committing 8 block here. Sorry, 7 block with face purgatory. Discarding, taking the outpace. If Andrew had led with that outpace, this would not have been possible. But covering all the damage here, leaving Andrew with his only option really to shoot the symbiosis shot for 2 points of damage. Now there should be more counters on that gun, but that's neither here nor there right now. Is Hank just going to block this one out? He is with Become the Arknight. So again, Arsenal draw up Hank. In comes this throttle. Andrew boosting, pitching a yellow boom grenade. So 6, threatening again that boom grenade chase. And 6 is blocked into our Fast and Furious. No item has been cranked this turn, so it's just 3 go again. Now, if there's an item on top and decides to sneak one in, sure. 1 card in hand here. Let's see what Hank decides to do. Are we taking 7? Are we blocking 3? Are we making him have it? No, I think choosing to take the 7 here instead of playing defensively. Okay, Andrew moving to Arsenal. Hank slowly whittling down this deck that Andrew has brought, playing a very defensive game plan, known to be a very patient kind of defensive player. Hank going to simply play Mordred Tide, Deadwood Dirge. So Viserai is going to trigger, making 2 rune chants. We're going to turn one of those rune chants into 4 rune chants. So we're going to end on 11 rune chants here. And we're just going to pass. We are not an OTK deck. This is the aggro version of Viserai. No comment. Sorry, Hank, I had to sneak one in, you know? But this is a really good strategy into Dashao. Let them slam their head into the wall. Because Viserai blocks incredibly efficiently, and 1 or 2 cards can just add an awful lot of damage to the board. Again, in comes a red throttle, pitching a T-bone, not getting as much value out of those anymore. Banishing a pulse wave harpoon. Andrew, you're real good at banishing these really good red cards. Not ideal, but in comes 6. And 6 is met by 3 by the looks of things. So yeah, 3 block on our 6 here. In comes backup protocol off the top. Not a boom grenade, not something to worry about. But we are going to net ourselves an action point. Close the combat chain here. Activating our Techlo Foundry Heart, pitching an outpace. Down goes Expedite 0 to 60, 2 more fairly decent reds, especially those red 0 to 60s. And that banish zone is nearly as big as the deck now. Things could get very dicey if Andrew is not able to close this game out in short order. So we're going to activate our backup protocol. I imagine getting a 0 cost here. Yes, grabbing our Fast and Furious. So this is a 0 for 4. Fine value here. Coming in, Fast and Furious. Yes, Fast and Furious coming in for 4. Are we boosting? We are. We are not. No boost. That's suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Yeah, no, that's sus, Hank. Come on. We're using our extra action point, sure. And we have Achilles, sure. But we know there's something on top. So taking the 4. Hank choosing to make his stand here, put something together in terms of a turn. We've still got 1 action point, and we're just going to play this Tekla core. Forgetting our symbiosis shot, because sure, who needs it? That deck is looking mighty, mighty thin now. In comes Malefic Incantation from Rosetta into Deadwood Dirge, triggering Viserai, which makes a rune chant, and inside said rune chant is in fact 3 rune chants. Currently up to 14. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then Sonata Galaxia, which in itself will make a rune chant, triggering Viserai, and gets our Rune Blood Barrier, which doesn't trigger Viserai, but will gain us a pile of rune chants. So let's not forget our Viserai trigger from Sonata. Hank, you should be at 12. Yeah. And then another. So I think we should be at 19 rune chants. But it is what it is. We're going to 0 to 60 here. So that is met by a reduced rune chant. Adding another rune chant. And in comes Spark of Genius. Spark of Genius going to help us search our deck now. I wonder what item we're going to get. I think we're through all our backups. Yeah, so it's just going to be another Boom Grenade. Bit of a weird one with Hank having Rune Blood Barrier in play because nothing is going to hit as long as we have 19 rune chats. But Andrew is going to draw up. Obviously, this is going to be cranked. We don't gain an extra action point. We only have the one action point because we played Spark of Genius. Drawing a card for our Spark. So we have 3 cards in hand, card in arsenal. Pretty good. Oh, we have a boost card sideways. I feel like we might have a max velocity. Either way, Hank probably getting a count of boom grenades. So it looks like there's 2. That's a third. So this could be all of the red booms that we have available. I have a funny feeling this might be a max velocity turn. Which, on the back of it makes this Rune Blood Barrier look incredibly smart. Throttle, paying the 2 that we have floating, boosting a 0 to 60. It's a blue throttle, so this is coming in for 4. Blocking 3, taking 0 damage, losing a singular rune chant. So Hank is removing rune chants there, but if the damage is prevented, there is no hit. So if there's no hit, there's no boom grenade. Blah. That's how it works. Pitching for Pulse Wave Harpoon, Hank should have 4 more rune chants. Andrew should have his boom grenade in play. So this is coming in for 4. Hank must reveal 2 cards, revealing Mordred Tide Sonata Galaxia. So Galaxia blocking here. And 1 damage is going to leak over if we don't commit this Mordred as well. But because it is 1 damage leaking over, we're just going down a rune chant. Our Galaxia blocks 2, so we're going to take 2. Closing the chain here. I imagine this is Foundry Heart and the 3rd max velocity. 1, 2. 2 resources. Boom grenade on top. Can't really play that if we're planning on max Ving here. Yes, it is the 3rd max velocity. 0 damage going to be dealt here. Remember, everyone, Hank should have an extra 4 rune chants. But we're going to go to 2 rune chants, I would imagine. Arsenal this Mordred and pass. Yep, 0 damage dealt this turn, despite Andrew's best efforts. Oh, we do not have an extra action point. Andrew. Damn it. Big cheats all around this turn by Dash.io. Not that it matters because this is the league. That means nothing. Interactions are weird. Players are not always the most familiar with how these niche interactions work, but it does not look like Andrew has a whole heap of damage left in that deck, especially with Hank at 16. Mordred in arsenal. We know Andrew has a boom grenade in hand and is definitely running short on damage. We've seen a lot of very good red cards gone. That's a Techlocore on top, though. Oh, that means we've hit our pitch stack. So that means we have 2 Techlocores coming in back-to-back order. Oh my god, I am a genius. I remembered it. I'm so smart. So Techlocore being played by Dashao's ability does not generate us any action points because this is not an item with Crank. And then in comes Expedite. We know there's a boom grenade in hand. Okay, there goes that Sprocket Rocket. So this is coming in here for 3. On hit, boom grenade gets put into play, which would generate us an action point. And that is met by a Runic Reckoning. And then Zipper Hit, using our other floating resource. So it's a yellow Zipper Hit, which comes in for 4 go again. Go again if we so choose to boost. We know that we still have this boom grenade in hand. Looks like we are choosing not to boost this one. And Hank is just going to choose to do some blocking because we've committed to this fatigue life. Taking a single point of damage here isn't going to be the end of the world. Especially when you look at the size of Andrew's deck, there is not a lot there anymore. So 1 damage dealt. Hank back to his turn with Mordred and 2 cards. Andrew, we know, is a boom grenade in hand, I believe, because we saw it last turn. Boom grenade goes to arsenal. Draw 4. One of which I do believe is a Techlocore. So we're going to pitch a Revel and Amplify to make a Rune Chant. And pass. Nice, simple, clean. Andrew has to find 15 damage in the next 10 cards. So we get our 2 resources from this Techlocore. Look at the top. Think it's an attack. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. We have a backup protocol, which we can now crank. Which we have to crank if we want to keep our turn going and not just leave Viserai with a 5-card hand. In comes our 0 to 60 for 4. Go again, boosting away a T-bone. Looks like a throttle on top. Blocking 3 to take 1. And here comes our throttle. It's a red throttle, I believe. Pitching a boom grenade. So 6. Go again. could very easily be met by 2 cards here for Hank. Six card in hand, card in arsenal. I think we are hard committing to the block's life if we are Hank. That we know there's no more max velocities. There's an awful lot would have to go right for Andrew to be able to max velocity us. So that's 4 blocking 2. Do we have the other reduced to rune chance as well? No, we are simply taking 4 here. Just doing our best to hang on to the game. Andrew just closing up, playing out a cerebellum. So, boom grenade to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. What looks like maybe 5 cards left in Andrew's deck. So Hank just going to play Mordred, going to play Become the Arcanite, discarding a non-attack. So that's going to trigger Viserai to make us 2 rune chance. Probably getting, yes, red amplify. So we're going to send in 3 and 6, which Andrew literally can't afford to prevent the damage. Not that it matters, he is still at full life. Yeah, Andrew just taking all that damage, making 2 resources, because we've got to find 10 damage in the top of our deck here. So with the crank in comes Fast and Furious, boosting a T-bone, coming in here for 4, threatening another 3 from this yellow boom grenade. So 4 go again. Looks like Andrew has maybe 3 cards left in deck. It's hard to say from here, but Hank is going to go to blocks, blocking 3, which would leak 1 damage and the boom grenade. We're going to activate dash, put in another boom grenade. We have 1 resource, gaining an action point. Putting Hank all the way to 3 with 2 cards in hand, card in arsenal, and maybe 2 or 3 cards in deck. It's going to be quite tight trying to close this one out, I'm not going to lie. Also, I'm almost certain that Cerebellum Processor should... Oh, it's actually 1 card left in deck. Never mind. Uh-oh. Because you can only boost when you have cards in your deck to boost as the game goes. So, Sprocket Rocket. Coming in here, boosting the last boom grenade. So this is 4. Still a card in hand. So blocking 4. Pistol for 2. Taking 2. Pistol for 2. Blocking. And pistol for 2. Andrew just clutching out the damage here. I think if Hank had maybe committed to blocks ever so slightly more on the prior turn instead of throwing out the 9 damage, we might have managed to get there. Oh, we were just a few turns short of finding our haunting renditions as well. That's a tough one, but congratulations, Andrew. 3-2. This is your best result in the league. That means absolutely nothing yet. And I know, Hank, you've been quite busy with life and everything else going on around you, and obviously playing a very different style of Viserai. So well done so far on your wins, and let's try and go for the 50-50 3-3 record next round. Good luck with that. And with that, that is the end of our gameplay today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you like the video, comment down below, tell us everything you enjoyed about it. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything, please leave it in the comments below. Make it constructive, make it nice. We love having the comments here at Go Again Gaming. And after you've done that, make sure you subscribe so that you can get all of the remaining action from the League That Means Nothing Season 3 and any future league directly to your YouTube notifications. I have been your voice of the league, Ian Holland. Finals_spirit on Twitter, finalspirit.bsky.social on Blue Sky. And I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will see you in the next one.